Come on and welcome to Hit and Hustle from IrishSportsDaily.com. I am Greg Flamong. That's Jamie Ueyama, Mr. University, and that is the Godfather, Mike Frank. Fellas, Notre Dame's playing for the national championship in 2025. I'm emotional. I told Jamie before I'm emotional. I needed to gather myself before the show started. What a
unbelievable
game. What a performance. This will go down in the annals of Notre Dame football history. This game, this season, Notre Dame had not won a major bowl game in 30-something years prior to this. They have now won the Sugar Bowl. They have now won the Orange Bowl. They have gone Big Ten, SEC, Big Ten to get to this point. It's the most unbelievable performance that I can recall, with the injuries and the grit. And they were completely getting outplayed, and then they completely flipped it in the second half. We're going to get to everything. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you like what you hear, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. So whatever it is, we're going to go live. Links to the podcast are in the description below. The show is brought to you by ESQ Clothing, founded by Notre Dame alum Ge Wang. You've seen ESQ on all your favorite Notre Dame players and coaches, including Marcus Freeman at the press conference. The press conference yesterday when James Franklin insulted him, disrespected him in front of everybody. Marcus Freeman got the job done today. Go to ESQ Clothing to dress and look as good as Marcus Freeman does. Use code ISD to get 10% off on all online items. I'm going to pass it to you guys. I'm emotional and I'm getting fired. Mike, I want to hear your thoughts. Yeah. We're going to get some super chats. Yeah, what we've got some super chats, so I'm going to get to those, but I want to get to Mike real quick. Mike, your thoughts, your emotions in this moment.
Completely dumbfounded. Just unbelievable. As you guys know, I was melting down. I mean, this was this is just one of those things where you're like, it just means so much if you can win this game. And the way they started, I was like, oh my gosh. And then the injuries, and the surprising thing was the defense not playing as well as you wanted. And then, man, they just came out second half. And I mean, it's amazing to think all the things that happened in this game where, like, a guy like Tosh Baker comes in and plays okay. He wasn't great, but he played okay. Charles, Jugasaw comes in and plays like a man, just really hadn't played all year. You know what I mean? Had not played all year. And then comes in and plays like that. Are you kidding me?
How does it happen? Tosh Baker.
And then you look at the situation with Jeremiah Love, and that dude's a beast, man. That run was just like, it's like, Notre Dame, I'm going to put you on my back, and I'm going to make sure that I score, and nobody is bringing me down. I don't care if I have a knee brace. I don't care what it is. Just incredible game. Just incredible. And, the situation with Mitch Jeter, and you're like, how's this guy going to, bounce back mentally? We were so worried going into the playoff that, oh gosh, what are we going to do about kicking? And here the guy comes out and he does what he's done. It's incredible. And it's just the culture of this team is amazing. And I can't believe it. I'm all like hot and bothered because I was yelling and screaming and going crazy. My dogs thought I was nuts. My son thought I was nuts. He's never seen this before. I mean, it was just insane. It's just amazing to be around something like this and to watch this team. And this is what Notre Dame fans have been wanting to see for a very long time. And here we are.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you got a coach like this that can make your team believe that no matter what, I mean, they were getting their butt kicked in the first half. If that were a Brian Kelly team, they would have lost by 35. They just would have. And that did not happen.
Brian Kelly team wouldn't have been in this game.
No, yes, well, that's right. They would have not made. Yeah, they would have never made it this far. But if they were in this game, they would have lost by 35. And that's just the difference between what you have now and what you had then. So I just can't believe how it's amazing. It really is. And I've been waiting so long for this. Every Irish fan has been waiting for so long to see a team like this. And we'll see what happens with Ohio State. But I'll tell you what, I don't care what happens. This is a huge win, no matter what. No matter what happens in that game. Just an incredible season. I'm so fired up about this team. And, Steve Angeli comes in and does what he needs to do. It just plug every guy in there, and they just seem to show up and play. It's amazing. Anyway, go ahead.
Jamie.
I mean, there were so many excuses that they could have had to lose this game. Like you said, I mean, obviously, Penn State was on a heater in the first half in terms of like Kotelnicki had, the defense in a blender because just through tempo, they were just overwhelming with them tempo. I mean, I will say like they weren't like blowing them. I know when people run and you get successes, people's like, oh man, they're just dominating them. And I was like, it wasn't really that. It was like they were getting on tempo and guys weren't ready, and then they were getting blocked, right? And that was the main thing. But the one thing I knew was that them getting the field goal at the end, and obviously coming in that situation, you're down 2 offensive linemen who are in the game. You down your quarterback, Angeli coming in there and getting them into a field goal position to get there was huge, was massive to get in that situation to do that. And, and he does what every single time when he comes in, he just goes and he just makes the throws. That's what he does. And, and I got to be honest, even after the whole thing with like Leonard coming back in, I was like, man, he did not look too hot in the first half. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I know he threw the pick in the fourth quarter. It was a bad pick. Yes, it was absolutely a bad pick, right? But talk about a guy who could have just melted, but then he came through. Holy crap, is that guy tough? Holy crap, is Jeremiah Love tough? Running tough? I mean, Mike Denbrock, tremendous job in the second half. Tremendous job. Like, we talk about him trying to find matchups. Kobe King, I'm sorry, man. The film's not going to look good for you because he gets him matched up one-on-one with Aeneas Williams. Explosive play leads to them scoring a touchdown on that first drive.
Yeah.
They get the Eli Reardon play would have been a touchdown if he didn't commit the PI, right? That was another play where they got him in that situation. And that Denbrock planned that. That was absolutely, obviously too, the end around to Jaden Thomas that hits for 19 yards. Like, that was a huge call. Like, there was a bunch of those kind of things, and really just the defense in general, because to have that, I mean, we got to talk about the refs because it was disgusting. It was disgusting.
The short spot is unbelievable.
You better know that I'm going in. I'll let you finish.
Unbelievable.
I'm going
the
in on that.
Entire night. I kept pointing them out every night, every freaking time. It probably happened 20 times. Yeah. It probably happened 20 times.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry,
those kind of things. Yeah, no, those things mattered because it was usually like the difference between like, 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1 or something. There was all of these different things that added up into the game.
I want to point this out real quick. Did you see the ref that was short spotting the whole time was standing next to Franklin on that kick on the field goal, the final one?
Oh, no,
you should have seen his face. No, he was standing there like just completely dejected, just like, oh, I can't believe they lost this game. You know what I mean? It's just unbelievable. I just couldn't believe it. I'm sorry.
Honestly, I was Notre Dame should send in
absolutely
like video of him. Honestly, because I don't know how this guy was allowed to ref this game after watching
last one. Yes, game. Exactly.
And it was honestly that bad. It was that bad in the Georgia game. And it didn't cost him because it wasn't close in that game, but there were things in that game that would have mattered. And obviously right before, the Christian Gray non-hold was disgusting. Just like, come on. Like, what are we even doing here? Like, what is the point of having officials?
College, literally every snap at wide receiver, that happens. You know what I mean? Literally every one. Everyone they hold on right at the beginning.
Just call it the same. Like, just call it
Yeah.
the same way. Like, you can't tell me that they're not holding Mitchell Evans on the crossing route.
Totally.
And look, if you don't call it, fine. Don't call it. Like, personally, I don't like that call. But then on that little grab, like, come on. Like, it's got to be consistent. It's got to be consistent. By the way, how many times has Notre Dame been called for roughing the passer for landing full body weight on the quarterback like that?
Yes,
How many times have they been called? And they land full body weight on Riley Leonard. He gets knocked out of the game. No call. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And then you get another cheap PI. It's, first of all, it's not a penalty. It's not a penalty. The play happens, even if he's completely doing it. The play happens ahead. It's like a tip ball. If the pass is intercepted ahead of the receiver, there is no interference because the ball never got there. That's the point. And he's not doing it anyway. It's literally despicable and disgusting. It was awful. Awful.
How about the non-hold on their last touchdown when Singleton ran around the edge? I mean, the guy is standing right there looking at it. He's holding the jersey. No call. I'm like, the worst. I just couldn't believe it. How does these guys continue to do this? If I'm Marcus Freeman, I'm freaking calling. The minute I get home, I'm calling. I take every one of those plays and I call in there and I say, look, if this continues, we're going to expose this. We're going to put this out there because this is ridiculous what you're doing to us. Unbelievable. Anyway,
honestly, it was sickening because that flipped the game.
Yeah.
Like, that flipped the game. But to get off the refs, because I know that people don't want to hear us complain about the refs all the time. So we'll get it over with. They were disgusting. It was horrible. But I can lead it into Drew Aller, fraud.
Awful game.
I told you pressure him and he's unbelievably bad.
I absolutely Greg, did I not call it that this guy?
That's true too. Yes, that's true.
In big games, he is a total
big games. He is. I mean, he's small game Drew, just like small game James. He does not do it. Even if you know the ones that the plays that they had were all Kotelnicki like masterclass calls.
Kotelnicki called a great game.
He called a great game.
He really did. I agree 100%. He really did. No doubt.
Yeah, he called a great game, and because they couldn't run like a regular offense with him just dropping back. He can't do that. He can't read.
They barely tried it. Yeah.
And really, like, Notre Dame was lucky in the first half that Aller was just so bad that he missed like open. Obviously, that throw to Singleton, bad throw, would have been a touchdown on the thing. Missed the other little wheel route to him when he was matched up to Osbury earlier. But two interceptions taken off the board by Aller,
and then the game losing pick.
And then the game losing pick as well, too. Right. So he was horrendous in this game. And I knew that if there was going to be a situation where it was put on him, he wasn't going to be able to do it. And props to Keatron Allen, Nick Singleton. Those are two really good backs.
No doubt.
Really good backs.
34 carries for 166 yards for those guys.
We'll say too, Landon Tangwall, no shots at him, but I had to mute him during the game because I was like, okay, I can't take this. But he tweeted out before the game that they were 13-1 when in Keatron Allen's career when he rushed for 80 or more yards. Their only loss to Oregon. Now 13-2. You lose to Notre Dame. It's not a surprise because you lose to the good teams. But it's like and normally you'd say, man, they rushed for 204. Notre Dame rushed for 116. I mean, Penn State must have blew them out. Yeah. But that also just goes to show of just like the running that Notre Dame did in terms of like converting on third and short. 11 of 17 on third down for Notre Dame in the game against that freaking defense. Are you kidding me?
Well, not even that, Jamie. 2 starters out at offensive line. You know, like I saw some people were going to blame Den Brock, if they lost. And to be honest, there were questionable calls like there is for every offensive coordinator. There were some things that he did where I was like, I don't know about that. But 2 starters out at offensive line, you know what I mean, against this pass rush, and you're, what was it, 10 of 17 on third down? Is that what it
Or
was?
11 of 17, yeah.
Or 11 of 17 on third down. I mean, that's incredible. It really is.
Insane.
And
they have not been a good third down team.
Rushing game. And you didn't have a good rushing game.
And by the way, if you're someone who has criticism for Joe Rudolph, I need you to take a hike.
Just get out.
I need you to take a hike. This has never been done. This has never been done.
And to be honest, this is not actually well, and they're not necessarily an overly talented offensive line. You know what I mean? They're not like the most big, athletic, nothing. They're just kind of a hodgepodge of guys that are just playing very, very well. And when it matters, it's incredible to watch what happened. And I mean, what a coaching staff, Jamie. What a coaching staff. Incredible. Incredible. We will never see a better coaching staff. We will never see a better coaching staff ever.
Really quickly, I want to get to some super chats because people have.
Yeah, thank you so much for everybody supporting us.
I want to get to those. I don't want to miss them out. CFB hurts. Frauds never prosper. Small game James. Small game James again can't get it done in the big game. The refs tried to crown him. They got crowned. They got the best draw of anyone in the tournament. Out. That's another super chat. Thank you from Ian Finnan. When in doubt, trust Franklin the fraud to mess it up. Steve Miller says, what an effing team. I'm without words. They don't know how to quit. So damn admirable. 100%. That's true. Kevin McMillan. You know what, Kevin? Sometimes when it has that little dash right there, someone has a question or a comment that they want to leave with the super chat. Put it in the chat and I'll read your question because I want to. You paid us, so I want to get your question in there. Brian Baelish, Jay loves Tutty was awesome. Can't believe the grit of this team. Julian Meeks, thank you for the super chat. Bonus money for ISD. You're all the best team of reporters in the country. If I were a millionaire, I would be upgrading Mike. Okay, Mike is cool. Mike's is cool. Jamie and Greg Zoom back. And contributing to retirement and for college funds. But that's what I got. Thank you.
What a great thing.
I really appreciate it. Ryan Connolly, again, if you have a chat that you didn't get in your super chat, please put it in there. Thank you, everyone, for those super chats. Let's talk
Greatly
about
appreciate it, everybody.
Yes, let's talk about the start of this game. Notre Dame was to me they were completely they were completely out of sorts to start the game. They were getting beat up on the offensive line. They were getting run on in the first half. I had it up here. It's not in these stats, but I do have it up here in the first half. Oops, I lost it. Here we go. All right. In the first half, Notre Dame 122 total yards. Penn State 194, 141 rushing yards for Penn State. They were getting gashed by Singleton and Katron Allen. The game was getting taken out of the hands of Drew Aller there, and Notre Dame was then suffering injuries. They had suffered injuries to Adon Schuler. Bo Collins, noticed he was not in the game. Like, where's Bo Collins? But people said he saw a wrap on his leg. Sounds like a pulled muscle. Adon Schuler went out for a spell. Obviously, they lost Rocco Spindler. They lost Anthony Knapp. That looked like the high ankle situation. I was hoping it'd be like kind of one play and back in. You saw how he got rolled up. That did not look good. That's going to be something to monitor heading into the national championship game on the 20th. Luckily, Notre Dame's got 11 days to prepare for that one. They need all 11 of those days. The injuries were piling up. Jamie, I know that it seemed dire at that point. I don't think we can overstate enough. I mean, the margin was 3 points. Steve Angeli comes in a situation. He gets thrown in the game, and he leads him down the field for a field goal. Well, I mean, one of the biggest drives of the season, frankly.
Huge,
right? I mean, they found something there. They got points on the board, and then they did the halftime score, tied the game. just kind of talk about you, Jamie. I'll go to Jamie first. How you were feeling in that first half? Not so much like for me, it was more of like they were so. I felt like they were so helter skelter with their personnel groupings, with their skill positions, and I was like, what are they going to do that actually works? You know, you didn't see them coming up with something on offense. What did you kind of feel in that moment? How you felt like Notre Dame needed to turn it around at that point?
I mean, I knew they needed to just get into the break and still have a chance.
Yeah,
they think so. Like, that's why it was so huge to get the 3. Because to have how the half went and you're only down 7, like that's what they really just needed in the game, was just to like still have a shot at it. I mean, I can't say that I felt confident that they were going to come back at that point, because it certainly wasn't good. But I knew that what they looked like on that first drive was going to tell a lot.
Yeah.
And as soon as they came out there and tied it up, like it just showed you too, though, how a game can just flip like that. Like literally just because of one drive, they had like higher YPP in the game than Penn State after that one drive, just because of one drive. And I think this is a key too, that which just shows that like obviously Notre Dame is a flawed team. Everybody knows it. Like they didn't have like the production at wide receiver. They haven't been throwing the ball downfield. You know, everybody talked about Riley Leonard threw for 90 yards last game. Well, Leonard and Angeli, you know, combined with Angeli, you throw for 267 yards in the game. Obviously, like yeah.
Who said today? Who said it?
You did.
Riley Leonard's going to have a good passing day.
And, the main thing, though, is that, and this is what's been the thing all year, and it eventually happened. And, I mean, I wouldn't have said that I thought that Notre Dame was going to win the game if they couldn't stop, Allen and Singleton. But the one thing that mattered was Allen and Singleton didn't break anything big. Like they did, like the long was 20.
Long was
right?
20, yeah.
The long was 20 in the game. And it's not to say they weren't gashing them in that one part, but they weren't killing them in the way that it was like, oh my God, they're just running away with this in deflating way. And they had 0 catches from wide receivers in this game. Penn State had 0 catches. You can't win a game with 0 catches from wide receivers. And compare that to Notre Dame, Jaden Greathouse,
huge game.
What a friggin' monster game!
Yeah, no doubt.
7 catches, 7 targets, like it says right there. Obviously Mitchell Evans was huge in this game too.
Aeneas Williams,
66, massive. All like, but Greathouse, and I want to bring him up specifically because, man, it's just so easy for a guy who's like getting 1 target in the last, 1 target each in the last 2 games. And they were both big plays that he made, clutch plays, tight coverage, him making a catch, a good throw by Leonard on slants to like convert first downs. But he's not like a featured guy. He wasn't the featured guy, and probably in a different kind of offense, he would be more of a featured guy because he's good. Like I'm convinced he would have had like a much better year if they were like a different kind of offense, but it really doesn't matter because Notre Dame hadn't had a 100-yard receiver all year until this game, until him. And obviously that was boosted by the one guy bailing and stuff too, but still look how many other big plays that he made in the game and contested catches. And I do think it is something too, because and I'll say too, KVA obviously looked a lot healthier in this game, and he made an impact too. But there is something to it about like KVA. Look at it. This guy played in like 1 million championship games at important playoff games at St. John Bosco. Jaden Greathouse, state champion at the highest level of Texas, like going and like balling, best player on the field in these against like everybody's a D1 guy that they're playing against and all that. Like there's something to that. There is value to that. And when you see a guy like this come through in a moment like this, and just, I mean, I couldn't be happier for that. I mean, you couldn't be happy for really the entire team, but really for a guy like that who just to have like that breakout game like this, and couldn't have been in a bigger moment.
Guys, I'm gonna bounce out.
Okay.
I'm gonna bounce out. I'm gonna celebrate here a little bit. I got to put my son to bed, and I'm just gonna chill. I'm just so damn excited about this team. Wanted to say thanks for everybody for coming in and all the super chats, and we're gonna have a lot in the next 11 days leading up to this game, and go Texas. That's all I want to say. Go Texas. We'll see what happens. All right. God bless everybody. What a night. Thank you so much. We'll can't wait for Power Hour and everything. And I want to get on the boards and see how everybody's doing. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, everybody. The show goes on. Jamie, like you said, 11 of 17 for Notre Dame on third down in this game. And I think at halftime, it was a question of that they need to find a way to move the ball. And I wasn't sure how they were going to do it. Like that's what I was kind of asking you before. Like I was obviously talking to people, like a lot of people are texting throughout the game and sending messages and things like that. And it's like, and I'm thinking to myself, it's 10-3, fine, right? Like from a score standpoint, with the game itself, I'm thinking, okay, they're fine. That's okay. But I also wasn't sure where are they going to find to move the ball? They come out in the second half, and Mike Denbrock at that halftime, he came up with something. He knew what they needed to do. They knew what they could do, and they came out and they straight down the field. They ran right at them. He got Aeneas Williams in that matchup, and then he continued to run at them in that first drive. The game completely flipped at that point, Jamie. They literally took control of the game. It was the Notre Dame team. Suddenly you turned it on and you said to yourself, this is the team that I recognize that I've been watching all year. Because I think in the first half, I just had that thing in my mind, like this is not them. This is not how they've been playing. They were getting outrun, with their defense. That didn't look as good. They were just getting out leveraged, and everything. They were just kind of chasing and they couldn't get off blocks and all those things. And I'm thinking to myself, it just must not be their night, but I thought at 10-3, it's okay. And I've seen this so many times. I tweeted it out in the NFL, like one team's getting dominated. And
it happens tweets all the time in the NFL.
You see tweets and they're just getting absolutely gashed. And you look up and you check out the score and it's like, it's 10-3. Like, what's the deal? You knew they could come back, but I didn't know how they would do it. And then they came back and they looked exactly like the team that they have been all year. They held Penn State to 145 yards in 28 plays in the second half. They completely just reestablished who they were as a defensive team. And then they reestablished who they were on offense. And it was like one of those things where I just felt like Riley Leonard is going to find a way. And I had some people telling me, like, I think they should go with Angeli. Like, even if Riley Leonard's okay. And I said, no, you cannot do that. Like, the Riley Leonard is why Notre Dame is good. He is why Notre Dame is good. Him and Jeremiah Love. If Love is limited and Riley Leonard isn't playing, then Notre Dame isn't the good team anymore. They aren't what they used to. They aren't what got them there. You have to go with Riley Leonard. He found a way to make the plays, Jamie. And to me, it was as much about scheme and as much about the coaching and all those other things as it was these guys getting into a big game, a must-win game, a championship round game, and playing like champions. They tapped the sign every day before every game, and they played like champions. And that, to me, that's what it was. As much as it was scheme and all those other things and X's and O's, these guys just refused to not make the plays. That was kind of like my takeaway from it. Any response to what I just said? I feel like a lot of this is big picture, but it just there's nitty gritty to get into, but at the end of the day, they just played like champions today, and that's what got it done.
I mean, I don't see how you can get away from that fact, and that is why you couldn't bench Riley Leonard, because he is the identity of the team. He's a major part of it. And you think about like the run to seal it against Georgia, right? Like essentially, like just basically there, as soon as they got that first down, it was like, well, they're killing the clock from there, right? And that's what he's done all year. And he did it a bunch in this game too, where just tough physical runs where he was getting pounded, and like he just kept going. And there were so many things like that where I want to point out this specific play, because this play really jumped out to me. I mean, Jack Heiser, obviously fantastic interception. That should count as an interception. Obviously, it's not going to go in the box score. Joke of a call, whatever. Should have been an interception.
Yeah.
But I can't remember if it was the next series or it was a couple. It was a couple series after that. He gets into there's a situation where they had a nice little thing called dialed up. Singleton, they had him out in the flat. Singleton, I don't know if people realize he is like elite speed, like maybe the fastest guy on the field. You know, that's why he's their kick returner and stuff too. Like he's with legit track speed. Like him and Jeremiah Love, it's like the same kind of deal, right? Where it's like, give that guy just an inch and forget it. And he had it, and it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, I think he's going to run away from here. And Kaiser ran him down, and it ended up, it was the 1st and 15 call. It ends up being second and 5 after.
Yeah, it was like 2nd and 6. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if Kaiser didn't make that tackle, that was going to be a house call. Because
at the very least, they're in field, they're in scoring range, right? Like they're going to in position to kick the game-winning field goal and run out the clock, to your point.
Yeah. And, it's just so easy for someone to you make this great play. You think like, man, I'm the hero. All of a sudden it's like, well, it gets called back. And then 2 plays later, they run it in. You're like, oh, and it's so easy for Christian Gray. You get like, first of all, you get the one pick taken away. You get the other one, literally, like you can see like skin and shoulder pads. It was so bad. It was such a bad, egregious non-call. And he comes out. I mean, obviously you saw in the USC game that this guy's obviously is just a battler. But to come up with that play in that moment, and the thing is too, is like, yeah, they want to review the call to make sure that it's all right. And there just was not a doubt that he had caught that ball.
To be honest, it was like, it just highlighted how great of a play it was.
Yeah, it really did.
The ball never even touched the ground. It wasn't even a question.
Yeah.
It just highlighted what a great play he made. I mean, like that was the thing to me too. It was the storylines of this whole game. Like there was so many just storylines that were emblematic of this team and what got them to this point. Christian Gray bouncing back, and by the way, Penn State never tried him. They never tried him on a goal ball. And they never tried him. And the thing is what we said before the game. Christian Gray on in-breaking routes, on slants, on crossers, he is totally fine. That is his strength, is when he can look in at the quarterback and he can go towards the ball. That's how he got his interception. He had another breakup on a play similar to that. He was on them. They never tried him over the top. That is where he's been vulnerable this whole year. And they didn't try him there, right? Christian Gray making it happen. Mitch Jeter redemption. Tosh Baker, Tosh Baker is the one that Notre Dame has who flips the sign every time when they're going to the next step. And everyone's like, why is Tosh Baker doing this, right? Josh Baker gets an opportunity to come in this game, and they badly need, and it's for over a half, Jamie, that he has to come in against this defensive line, against these defensive ends. And he comes through. Jaden Greathouse. He's the one who had the drop against NIU. When it's like that was the one play where it's like everyone points to. It's like, oh, these are the missed opportunities against NIU. He makes a great catch on a slot fade. He scores the touchdown. He makes the catch to get Notre Dame into field goal range, Jamie. I mean, to me, it was not just like the win. It was the whole, like, this game was emblematic of the entire game, the entire operation for Notre Dame and what they've been about all year. And why, like I told you before the stream this morning, I felt weird about this game. And I wasn't sure if it was because I felt weird about the game or it was because my own life with the fires and everything that's going on was just like, it was causing me anxiety. But I was no way I was going to pick against this team because everything points to they are the goods. They are the goods. And they will figure it out. And they will find a way. And there is no team that is more deserving of a victory than Notre Dame's team today. They deserve to win more than Penn State did.
Oh, yeah.
And go.
Yeah, they absolutely deserve to win. I'm sorry, I'm looking at like the things too, and I know people like just want to mention too. Yeah, we got to mention Snead's pressure on that.
We're gonna get to everything.
Yeah, we're gonna get to everything. Don't worry, we're gonna give everyone their flowers.
Yeah.
I have to say too, because I think people knows obviously we're a Notre Dame podcast. We Irish Sports Day, we cover Notre Dame. So obviously we're going to focus on Notre Dame. And we mentioned how Kotelnicki, obviously did a good job in this game. And he is as impressive as, deserve it. But I will say one of the things with him is that he, I think there were times too, where it was like, he took the foot off the pedal when he was trying to like set things up for Aller that he probably shouldn't have. And I'm sure he probably regrets it, but it just was, I mean, you are trying to believe in this guy. He's supposed to be a first round pick. So there's that.
Kicking from the 3-yard line is a total disaster.
Oh yeah. That was small game, James. But man, I don't think we can do this show without mentioning Abdul Carter. Are you freaking kidding me? This guy played on one arm. He was not healthy. Like, he wasn't close. Like, I don't even know if you can say he's like they were saying he's 85%. His arm was hanging. He literally could not use
it.
One arm.
He couldn't use it.
He was like literally just a one-arm guy out there and was battling his butt off. And it was obviously he's a freak of nature.
Jamie,
is so good.
On that 3rd or that 2nd and 5 play when they sent the blitz and Leonard beat it and he gets outside. There is no player in the nation that keeps Leonard from getting around that corner.
No one.
If it's not Abdul Carter. He is an absolute leopard. That was the best play I've seen this year from any player. And I've seen some great plays. That was incredible. That Riley Leonard was 100% certain he was turning that corner. And he was like, oh, I can't turn the corner. I have to throw the ball away. It was a great play by him. But man, Abdul Carter in this game, just an unbelievable force. The quarterback hurries. He only has one. They're terrible at that.
I mean, obviously those are terrible. He had like a million pressures.
He was dominant. He was a dominant force in this game as advertised. Please continue.
Yeah. And it just goes to show, like, when there's a guy who's like a top 5 pick, and even if he's not fully healthy, he's going to be a difference maker.
And by the way, Jeremiah Love, same.
Yes. No, the exact same.
Yeah.
He freaking hurdled. I can't believe
a guy
he
with
hurdled
a terrible
Kobe
knee.
King. first of all, Kobe King, he's not like a 5'9" DB. Like some of these other guys he's hurdled, I get it. I mean, whatever. They were still freaky athletic plays, but it's different when you're doing that to like a linebacker, a 6'1", 240-pound linebacker, because if he catches you, he is going to slam you like it's friggin' WWE. Like, wow, just to get it 2 yards, to get 2 yards and do that. And obviously the touchdown run, I was one of the best short yardage runs I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
Maybe the best. Like, he is a special dude, just an absolutely special dude. And I don't know. How do you want to do this, Greg? Do you want to just like go through everything, or because I feel like we're just kind of thing, but it just feels like we're on a high.
I just think it's that kind of game. Like there's so many like big picture things that I like just popped in my mind, and I can't get over. I just simply cannot get over the effort by everyone in this game. I can't get over it. It just because you used the word excuses earlier. They had so many excuses. They had so many reasons, like legitimate reasons. Like we didn't really talk about it in the pregame because it's like it's one of those things where it just kind of doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter, because you don't know how it affects things. The difference between 7 days to prepare and 9 days to prepare is enormous. Marcus Freeman said yesterday at the press conference, I'm going to go. We need these 24 hours to get ready for this game. Like for them to do that, for them to have this. First of all, Lauren Landau, they outlasted a team in the second half after just playing Georgia. They had played Boise State and SMU ahead of this. They were not challenged. They were not physically challenged in those games. Notre Dame just played Georgia, and then they outplayed them in the second half of this game. There was no reason that should happen. That should not happen. And it did happen, and they made it happen. I can't get over it. I cannot get over it.
They should have been the team that wore them down.
Exactly. Notre Dame should have been the team where it's like, we can't afford to trail. They were for the first time this year, they trailed by double digits. And what did everyone say? You can't get down by double digits, this team, because Riley Leonard can't throw. 17 unanswered. I can't get over it. I simply cannot get over the way that they won this game. That because it just was not easy for them, and they found a way to make it happen. We got to get to some more super chats, Jamie. Randall, I'll say Randall L. Thank you very much. Congrats, ISD staff, and thanks for your great coverage this whole season. Go Irish. Thank you, Randall, for your attendance and for your super chat. We really appreciate it. Matthew Severs, thank you for the super chat. I'm not Ge Wang, so I can't offer everyone 27% off everything. So figured I would just do $27 chat for each. Really appreciate all your content. Can't wait for the breakdowns next week and inspire all your belief. I don't know if I'm going to go to sleep tonight, to be totally honest with you. Kevin Krause, thank you for the super chat. You guys are the best. There's a ton of people in the chat. And so I want to try to get to some comments because sometimes they can lead to
good conversations. Yeah.
Good conversations. Yeah. So I'm going to monitor that situation. Rajon says, let's stay up all night. John, the talk about, I want to, you know what we should talk about? Let's talk about Aeneas Williams for a second.
Yeah. Hey, let's do it.
He's a guy who like every time he's in the game, it's like you want it to be Jeremiah Love or Jadarian Price, just because of the explosiveness factor.
Yeah.
5 catches for 66 yards. He catches the wheel route. He has another couple of good runs for Notre Dame. He's never doing the wrong thing. He never does the wrong thing. He's never making the wrong play. He sticks his head in there. His blocks are, look, he's not very big, and he's getting run into by these huge linebackers who are better athletes than him, who are better physical specimens than he is. He's never doing the wrong thing, Jamie. Invaluable plays that he made in this game. The wheel route, again, you set it up for him against a linebacker like Kobe King, he's had a tough year, but like it's an experienced player. and Aeneas Williams is getting the best of him in the Orange Bowl in the semifinals college football playoff. Talk to me about Aeneas Williams and what he was able to do today.
Yeah, I mean, we could say too, like, I mean, he beats Kobe King, and that's something too, where Kobe King, I believe his first team all Big Ten. Like he's a really good player. So to get it, just when you think about like, hey, we're down 10-3. We need to score on this drive, guys. We need to come out and score. And by the way, Aeneas, we're going to you. Like that, like that's a call. They were like, hey, this is what's happening.
Yeah, like everyone knows why that play is put in. He knows going into it, he's going to get
that's his play. That's his play.
Yeah.
So to get that, just in that moment, beyond impressive. And just the thing is too is that like I very much like Kyron Williams too, and I know it's probably annoying to just keep comparing to Kyron Williams, but just it seems like every play that you think, hey, he should get 4 yards out of this, well, he gets 7.
He gets 7. He always gets
should get 1 yard. He gets 4. You know, it's always more. Yeah, it's like he catches this, this little flare that's should be a 2-yard gain. He breaks a couple tackles and he gets 9. Like just things like that. That just it's just winning football. It's winning football, and like he is someone too who was obviously a guy who, I mean, he had prolific numbers in high school as a recruit and all that, but he impressed them at camp. But like, think about how valuable it is to have a guy like that who can win as a receiver and do what he does, and that's just like it's just a value that you can't put a value on that to have that guy. And obviously, like, they're probably going to have him 3 more years. Like it's and he's only going to get better. So yeah, just a phenomenal game from him. You know what? I do want to bring up Mitch friggin' Jeter, because it's just so easy to forget that, like,
unbelievable.
All in that moment, I mean, all that hard work can just go to waste if one guy doesn't make this kick. And whatever, everyone on the field goal team really, has to do their job. But that is just such a clutch kick. I mean, what a story that guy has been, just considering where things were with the scene. Like, it was literally the thing that people said, man, this is going to be the thing that loses Notre Dame games going into the college football playoff.
Yeah.
And obviously it's been the opposite. Like, he's been phenomenal. And in this game, just in that moment, like, and I don't know. I mean, certainly, like, I'm sure Notre Dame fans were nervous when he was coming up, because you just, whatever, they're always thinking, like, you never know.
But first of all, any college kicker in that moment, I don't care who it is.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you, Jamie. I didn't see the kick go through. I couldn't watch. I stood. I swear to God. I was like,
okay, I'm going to be honest with you too, that I had it. Okay. For some reason, the like stream on my phone was faster on my TV.
Oh, wow.
And then, and so, and I knew that, but then I was like, not trying to, I didn't want to do that. I was like, I'm just going to watch the TV. I'm like, I'm not going to try to mess with it. And then I was like, oh, should I watch this on the TV or the phone first? Like, cause I gotta know. And then I just saw for those that don't know, we get like the stats link, right? So we get the stats link and it says like all that, and it updates, as you go, like the play-by-play data, right?
Yeah.
And I saw 27-24 and I was like, oh my God, I didn't even have to worry about this. He made it. So it was, so it was, I gotta admit, that's the way to watch those big kicks, is just look at the stats link and just don't worry about it
ahead of time. Honestly, and people ask about like game watches and stuff, and I would put up the stats link, but like you said, it happens, it gets updated in real time. Like literally when you're at the only time I can ever have it up during a game is when I'm at the game. Because then it's like, obviously I'm at the game, and that's very real time. But like, we can't. It's too soon. That's why I don't have it up during games. Rajon, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that as well. Let's talk about Jalen Sneed. So something I had meant to kind of talk about and I didn't during the lead up to things is I thought Jaden Osbury had been struggling, not in this game, but just generally. It's not that he was playing bad, but it's like, man, he hasn't really played well in a really long time, and I thought he struggled in this game. I thought he wasn't getting off blocks. He was missing tackles. And look at Tyler Warren is a star, right? So
yeah,
but
he's stiff armed a lot of dudes. Yeah.
That being said, you got to do better in that situation. And it wasn't just that play either. Look, and it wasn't just him, by the way. Like Adon Schuler had the worst game he's played in a Notre Dame uniform, right? And look, sometimes that happens, right? And you got to pick up your teammates. But I thought Jalen Sneed coming in, and I think Jalen Sneed, since honestly, Jamie, since Louisville, when he walked off the field during the alma mater, ever since then, he has been a different player for Notre Dame. There's anytime a player walks off the field like that and has the eligibility remaining, you think that guy's out of the program. Okay. I don't think there's any way he doesn't start for Notre Dame next year and play the majority of snaps if he chooses to stay, right? And I'm just throwing a caveat on that because of the era that we're in. I thought he's been phenomenal. He had 6 sacks. Oh, I'm sorry, not 6 sacks. That would be amazing. That would be phenomenal. He had 6 tackles in this game. Let me see. He had 6 tackles, 2 solo tackles, 1 quarterback hurry. He might have had more than that. People are talking about the pressure that he got that forced the interception from Drew Aller, right? What have you seen from Jalen Sneed? I think he is one of the reasons that Notre Dame's defense has continued to kind of ascend given all the injuries, because the way that he has played, I think he's been a big X factor in Notre Dame's continued ascent as a defensive team.
Absolutely. And you think about how they didn't have KVA for, many weeks. And then obviously last week he wasn't or the last game, he wasn't, at that same kind of level that, he was earlier in the season. And they needed him to be better. They needed him to do it. And he just shows up all the time. And that's the thing. He's always showing up. And I think he's playing the best ball that he's ever played at Notre Dame. He's playing, he's just a unique athlete that they just don't have too many of these guys that are like that. And to have someone like that, who can do all the different things that he does, that's just, it's huge for the defense. And really, like you said, like Osbury, I mean, I don't even say he's played bad, but he's definitely had more. He's had more of the things that you saw from Sneed earlier in the season, where you're like, that wasn't a great fit, things like that, right? And Sneed, he's so much better at getting off blocks and doing all these things, and he's such a weapon that they have to be aware of him. Like before, I guarantee the beginning of the year, they were probably circling Sneed in a way like, hey, this is a guy like we can maybe like run at, we can do some different things at. And now the opposing team is like circling Sneed because they're like, this guy's a problem. This guy's a problem. He can really do a lot. Yeah. He can give us issues. And to go from that through the course of a season is absolutely massive. And I do want to lead into too, because it's just making me think of, Rod Hurd got obviously the big sack in the game too. Don't know why they didn't blow it down when KVA had him in the grass, but whatever. Props to Hurd for continuing to finish or whatever. But Hurd, had to cover.
He got the Tyler Warren assignment.
He got Tyler. And I thought he did a heck of a job.
Well, I mean, look, Tyler Warren got his the way that he does, right? Tyler Warren, 6 catches, 75 yards. Will take. You would absolutely take that, right? And I think we talked about this. Like, he'll get his. Don't let him have 10 for 150. We said he's not going to have 10 for 150. He's going to get his. He's going to make his plays, which he did because he is great, right? Rod Hurd. It just like, did you think he would get the assignment? I did not think he would get this assignment.
I didn't think it, but after I saw it during the game, it did make sense to me. And then I thought, I'm like, oh, because he is kind of like, essentially, if they're going to go big nickel, he is the big nickel. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and I do think the one thing with Schuler is that I think you see a lot of good reps from him in man, but to me, he's a lot more like where Xavier Watts was earlier, where you're like, he's not the best in man yet with some of the stuff like where he got beat on the in-breaking route against Delp last week, right? Where you're like, he got out leverage and it was just like, he was kind of back on his heels. It wasn't a great rep for him. And then he gives up 21 yards, right? Which that was something that I kind of worried about with him against Tyler Warren. I think some of that times when he was matched up, you saw a bit of that. And Hurd, because he is a guy who's like played nickel, obviously had played some corner in his career, can play deep, do all these things like, oh my gosh, it's just extremely valuable. And the thing is like, you can't play like Jordan Clark on him because he's just too small. You can't play Jordan Clark, and you don't want to take one of your corners and just take him outside because they do have like, which is still just amazing to me. Like, I don't know how they didn't just throw D to Amari Evans once. Like, just
they didn't even try.
They didn't even try.
Yeah. Unbelievable that they wouldn't even give it a chance. Something that I didn't consider, Jamie, and while you were talking about this, I wonder if there was something with Rod Hurd being at Northwestern last year.
Oh, and yeah, then
I don't even know if they played Penn State. I maybe I'm just totally making that up, but look it up real quick if they played Penn State.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Maybe I should have looked it up. There are a couple more super chats I want to get to. Jared, thank you for the super chat. Officials were terrible 2 weeks in a row. PSU got every break in this game, and Marcus Freeman got his team to the national championship game. Same crew.
They did play Penn State last year.
We should have thought of that, Jamie. Some insider knowledge. And Rod Hurd played nickel too at Northwestern.
A different offense though, but personnel wise,
personnel. If you've played him, that makes sense, right? I've played the guy. Indy on top. Thank you for the super chat and thank you for a crazy year, Greg and Jamie. Team of Destiny at this point. Hope to see you both in ATL. You won't see me in ATL because my daughter, of course, has a soccer tournament in Las Vegas. You'll see me in Las Vegas if you want to go. You want to catch me somewhere. Marcus Freeman is speaking to the media right now. Matt's giving updates. Freeman on the lift they got from Jeremiah Love. He was banged up. He is a tough individual. He didn't get a lot of practice reps. The stats may not have been there in the first half, but he being out there means something to the team. In second half, he did some Jeremiah Love things. Again, the touchdown run is like as much as you love Jadarian Price, as much as you love Aeneas Williams, Jeremiah Love is the one who can make that play. And that's why you want him on the team. By the way, Jamie, were there a lot of missed tackles on that play?
I don't even know how many there were, to be honest. There probably was. Dan Casey, who if you follow him, he's someone who tweets out a lot of scheme stuff. Great follow if you're really into nerdy XNO stuff. And he tweeted it out I think he said you won't find a tougher run. And I've watched that play probably about 5 times already. I'll probably watch it about 40 more times before I go to bed tonight. It was incredible just to even get to the point where he's, getting hit by Zachy Wheatley.
Yeah.
Because he had to jump over a guy, didn't have his balance, and then gets hit at the 2 by Wheatley is like met there after he doesn't have like a big Wheatley is coming downhill and he is not. And to fight off there, and then I know, Abdul Carter, obviously, he is not full what he is, but he was like as violently trying to punch at the ball as you will see someone do. And to reach out and score, I just incredible. Like you just shout out to Married Children, just Al Bundy versus Spare Tire vibes in that one episode where he just reached over the goal line. Just an all-time favorite of mine. But it was just like it has to be one of like, I mean, Jeremiah Love's probably got like 5 highlights that it could go on like the if there was like a one shining moment for thing, like Jeremiah Love's got like 5 of those moments. But that's probably the best one. That's probably better than the 98-yard run, which is just incredible.
Equally as impactful, I think. A poster or a chatter by the name of Rebecca Flamong, my mother. I'm with Dan Adams. Hit the like button. Everybody hit the like. Hit subscribe. We got 564 and watching the show. Hit the like. Hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Soon, whenever it is, we are going to go live. Look, we put out the good content. We put out good content, Jamie. We put out a live show every day this week. We got 2 live shows today. We're gonna have a live show tomorrow. We put out good content. If you want to put out good content, then you know what you can do, Jamie? You can go to VSR Media. They'll put out good content for you. And whether it's for your social media page, whether it's for your small business, a highlight reel, whatever you want to highlight, they will do it for you. VSR Media, of course, is founded by Notre Dame football pregame host and Emmy Award-winning anchor Vahid Sadrazadeh. VSR Media provides professional and cinematic video and photo. Whether you're looking for a collegiate or pro-level highlight reel, have a personal story to tell, or are aiming to diversify and grow your business, VSR Media specializes in short and long-form video storytelling, social media management, and website design. VSR Media also captures professional headshots, senior and sports photos. Contact them at vsrmediacompany.com. Mention Irish Sports Daily to receive 20% off your first project. Visit them online or give them a call at 574-800-9106. All right, let's get to – a lot of people aren't happy with Dennis Sutton, by the way. Isaac K., can we acknowledge how much of a douche Dennis Sutton is? You know what? I didn't like him. I didn't like him against Boise State. I thought he did some I thought he did some dirty things. I thought he should have been thrown out of that game for the hit on Ashton Jeanty.
Super dirty. Should have been thrown out of the game.
I thought it was as dirty as you could see. I thought it was just like completely ridiculous. The player grabbing Riley Leonard by his chi-chis in the on the run near the goal line. That's also not cool. Matt Freeman Matt Freeman tweeted it out. Our boy ISD Images Rick took the picture. It's there. He's hitting him in his groin. You don't like that. Sean Scott.
Was that Dennis Sutton as well?
No, it was number 15, whoever that is. Sean Scott, thank you for the super chat. This only says off. I wonder if great content, fellas. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that as well. Appreciate that. Got his comeuppance, the fraud he is. The duck grabber is what they're called. No,
it was Vanover. It was Vanover who was
Vanover. I mean, and Riley Leonard pointed it out right away. Sean Scott asking about the spotting. Yeah, the spotting was bad. It was bad, and it was bad for 2 straight games.
While we're talking about Dennis Sutton too, and you know what, heck of a interception.
It was a heck of an interception.
Don't throw that ball though, Leonard. Don't throw that ball. But as good as that interception was, him taking on the trap from Jagusa was about as pathetic as I've ever seen in a goal line situation. Like, honestly, too, like, if they had won and advanced, I'm sure they're not going to be like, hey, guys, come get in for film tomorrow. They're going to give these guys probably a break from looking at that film for maybe ever. But if they were going into the thing, I mean, and if I was his defensive line coach, I'd replay that like 400 times to just shame him because it was so bad. Like the exact opposite vibes of Jeremiah Love running through like, 7 guys to score a touchdown.
Yeah. Jacob Paula says he got demolished on the pole from Jagisaw. Charles Jagisaw. How is he playing in this game?
I mean, I wouldn't even say he got demolished there. He just didn't want any of it. He was just like, I'm not even going to bother taking it on. I mean, Jagisaw, he did demolish. Oh my God, Jagisaw, he kind of screwed up on a play where he picked up the wrong guy, but he took the blitzing safety, and oh my God, did he destroy him? But and I'll tell you what, too, this was another, obviously a very big play of the game. Zay Durant, illegal hands to the face on Jagisaw.
Huge play.
You know what? And the way that he had his and was doing it and how blatant it was, that means that dude had hate for Jagisaw. And Jagisaw was getting into him and he did not like it. So to get into a game and to be put into a game where you haven't played all year and you're like, this dude wants to kill you in the game. I mean, you're doing something right as offensive lineman. And I mean, I don't even care too, because if you look at, I bet we'll watch a film and I'll probably look and I'm like, Jagisaw probably had probably 10 bad plays or something that were like, oh, that's whatever. Who cares? Whatever he did just to even be in the game. Incredible.
Again, Joe Rudolph, man.
Yeah.
What a job. What an absolute job that he did in this one. It's truly unbelievable. Look, I'm going to just say, I know we said that we don't know how to quantify this stuff. I think the James Franklin thing before the game in the media, I just think it was absolutely telling. If there was anything that happened that actually gave me confidence, it was that. That to me, it was just the way that he treated Marcus and the way that he went about that entire press conference and going on about Notre Dame not being in a conference and all those other things. I was like, man, this guy, he doesn't have it. He doesn't get it. He doesn't have it, and he doesn't.
It was fake guy stuff.
And just the way it was fake tough guy. Absolutely, it was fake hustle. And you know what? On Hit and Hustle, we don't do fake hustle, Jamie. And everyone knows what fake hustle is. And that's exactly what that was. And he's trying to clown Marcus Freeman and acknowledge that Marcus Freeman was very, very much not impressed. Marcus Freeman's team played like men. Because Marcus Freeman is a leader of men. And they played like that, where it's like you want those guys to go out there and it's not going well, and then they figured out a way. Those players figured it out. They were getting dominated on the run game, and they figured it out. And to me, that is a product of Marcus Freeman, the coach. That is a product of Marcus Freeman, the leader. That is how you lead a football team, to have a team that figures it out kind of on their own, on the fly. And look, obviously the coaches did a great job, right? His coaches did phenomenal. They were phenomenal in this game. But the reason that Marcus Freeman went about things the way that he went about things is because of games like this, when it's not going well and you find a way to pull it out. His team is mentally tough. And James Franklin's team is not mentally tough, Jamie. And that's a takeaway that I have from this one, is that they weren't mentally tough at the end. They were crowned on the PIs that weren't PIs. Drew Aller threw the ball to Notre Dame 3 times in this game. And they gave him 2 times. They tried to give him all 3 because they tried to go review it. They just wouldn't allow Drew Aller to throw an interception. They couldn't find a penalty, so they tried to find the ball on the ground. They couldn't do it. To me, the whole thing about, I thought the pregame stuff, I didn't want to make too big of a deal of it because I got to see the game first, right? But and it's not one of those things I'm going to make a prediction that this matters, right? But I just felt like, man, I kind of think this does. I kind of, so in retrospect, do you view the whole thing a little bit differently?
I,
I know you're loath to, so I'm curious if you do. I do, but you don't. You can disagree. That's fine.
I just think that it's kind of hard in the moment to just like I want to say, like, if you're looking at like Penn State's team and you see like they have probably like 6 guys that are just like incredible individual talents
Yeah.
on their team. And obviously Notre Dame's got a lot of great talent on their team too. But when you see the kind of like what the team is as a whole for Notre Dame, and kind of like what, you know, Marcus Freeman is able to do, it's just like there just is no comparison to that. Like, basically what I think I've gone into really like the last few games thinking that, you know, if Notre Dame loses this game, it is gravy, I guess, because it's like what they've done and all they've overcome. It is in that way too, but just the fact that there's like, it's just the whole identity of the team and the identity of the program is just like this isn't going away. This is kind of like what Notre Dame is. It's kind of hard who Marcus Freeman is. It's like kind of makes all sense with the staff and like who it is. And obviously there's going to be things that change. You know, you never know what staff members might leave or players leave, and you got to replace them. You got to develop the next guy, and there's all this kind of stuff too. But just there just aren't many. Like, how many people, if they are right now in college football, think that like, man, Marcus Freeman is got to be like if they would choose, like, we're starting a program where it's like, hey, we're rebooting the program, who we want. How many people want that guy as the start of the, like, to run their program?
Yeah.
And it's just like, you just don't. And that guy's at Notre Dame, and it's been a while. It's been a while.
I mean, they played again. I said it earlier. They played like champions, and we haven't seen Notre Dame play like champions in 30 years. You know, and it's just like undeniable. Like how like they are doing the things that every championship caliber team has to do. They play from out front. They win with defense. They win with offense. They win with special teams. They have guys come in and out of the lineup and they win. You know, they win on the road. They go wherever. They play in LA. They play in New York. They play in Texas. They play in Florida. They play in Georgia. They play in Louisiana against Southern teams, and they win.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you see that? I think it was Matt Fortuna, who tweeted out that Notre Dame has 4 Big Ten wins, and now they're like even with like USC and like probably like 10 other teams this year. It's just hilarious.
And they don't even have they don't, you know, why does Notre Dame need to be in a conference? Why? Tell me why. And Danny Cannell, did they? And the funny thing about Danny Cannell is in saying that Notre Dame hacked the college football playoff is
he
that
just had to pick a new thing because he's a troll, and that's what he does.
But the funny thing is that the team that actually hacked the college football playoff was Penn State.
Yeah,
a funny thing, because
they won 13 and never beat anybody good the whole time.
They played one good team the whole time, and they lost. And then they got in the conference title game because Ohio State, who they lost to, because Ohio State lost. So they didn't get in by anything they did. Someone else lost. And so they got in.
They backdoored their way in.
And then they lost. And then they didn't pay any penalty with seeding. And then they got the best draw out of anyone. And Landon said this. Landon said it on our show. They got the best draw. Couldn't get it done. And they got the extra rest. And they didn't have to deal with a terrorist attack. They couldn't get it done. And so, Danny Cannell, please go away with your terrible tweets, right? Like at some point, Jamie, people are going to just have to realize this is a good team. This is a good football team. They have now beaten the number 9 in succession. They have now beaten the number 9 team in SP Plus. If you want to go back to USC, I think they're 20th in SP Plus or 22nd or something like that. 22nd. I'm sorry, F Plus. 22nd in F Plus. Number 9 in F Plus. Number 8 in F Plus. And now number 6 in F Plus. 3-0 against F Plus top 10 teams. Tell me more about Notre Dame's weak schedule. Tell me more about Notre Dame is overrated. You're going to have to tell us at the national title game because that's where Notre Dame is going. I'm so impressed with this team. I'm so impressed with Marcus Freeman. And I'll give credit to Pat McAfee because in the pregame, did you see him in the pregame?
I didn't watch. No, I didn't watch too much of the pregame because I was like, I just get weird vibes when I watch the pregame.
No. I only watched it at the beginning. And so basically he said, I picked Indiana to beat Notre Dame, and they didn't. And then he said, and he was like, and all my Notre Dame people, like they all told me, keep picking against Notre Dame, keep picking against Notre Dame, keep picking against Notre Dame. And he said, and then I picked Georgia to beat Notre Dame, and they didn't. And then everyone told him to pick against. He also picked Texas A&M. And so then he was like, so all the Notre Dame fans want me to pick Penn State. I will pick Penn State. And it was a bit, right? Like I think the by the gist of it, you could kind of tell like he really loves this Notre Dame team. And I think he really loves Marcus Freeman. And I think he, as a football guy, sees what other people see. And that this is.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of clips where he was like just praising Notre Dame big time this week. So I will say I did watch a tiny bit of the pregame and the feature they did on Marty Biaggi and, his dad. It really was, Jen Latta, I believe, from ESPN did it. I think most people know that,
I don't know that a lot of people do. I think a lot of people know, but I think a lot of people don't. So Marty Biaggi's father,
Notre Dame alum.
I can't. Can you tell us? I cannot tell this story. Like I will break down.
So his father, has cancer, and he was, in on his last legs. And Marty Biaggi's family, also his wife, just had twins, like literally, like right before, they were going to play Indiana, and then also too, like his dad was, not doing well, barely kind of getting by, and like just was hanging on, and he hung on to win. I mean, I can't even really tell it, but anyways, he hung on till they won the Indiana game. He was able to like hold up the phone to his family and play the alma mater for him. Anyways, ESPN did a lovely feature on it. They really did it justice to kind of honor Biaggi and his family, and it was a wonderful thing. And if anyone wants to see it, I would recommend checking it out. I mean, you're probably gonna it's going to get a little dusty. But hey, sometimes it's good to get dusty when it's those kind of things. And it's he's obviously going through a lot right now, and just to do the job these doing. Shout out to the special teams in general.
Yeah,
in this game. Job James Rendell, another strong
James
game.
Rendell. I mean, Luke Talich,
major
hit stick. And to be honest with you, it's not just that, but like clean hit.
Totally clean hit.
Like it's so hard to not have a clean hit on or to have a clean hit on that one. To not, hit him with your helmet or something. Like just clean hit, head up, shoulder. It's perfect, And so like the thing with Marty Biaggi, God bless him. I mean, just what he's going through and everything, and the piece with you're talking about with the playing of the alma mater, like that, just like I can't, like I can't even talk about that because it's just especially when you're a dad too, you kind of get that stuff. But yeah, it was Michael Hahn says it's amazing night. It's one of those games where this is why you watch it. This is why people love this sport, because you're sitting there watching the game and I'm thinking to myself, this is what the sport is, This is why people care. This is why so millions of people watch these games. This is why people like me, when I'm 10 years old and I fall in love with the game, it just because it's such a battle. Like they're battling so hard and they're playing so hard, and both teams, it's just a war. They're just, and I don't mean, that's a hyperbolic word to say, but it's just like, it's such a physical contest. And this as a former player, like the amount of physical exertion that goes into games like this, right? Where it's just afterwards, you're just completely drained. Not just the physicality of it, but the stress of it, like the mental energy that you're exerting. And so to watch it, and you're watching it and you're thinking to yourself, this is just the pinnacle of the game, the pinnacle of the sport. And so for Notre Dame to be a part of it, and then to make the plays that they have to make in order to come out on top, and to find a way to be the better team on the day. That's the other thing. Like it wasn't a miracle. It wasn't a fluke. Like they just came out and did the thing to make it happen. And so it's just like, like Michael Hahn said, it's a special night. Like it's a special night for the fans. It's a special night for it could be a special night for Furlander, who says, "Hey, Greg and Jamie, my buddies and I have a pact to get Shamrock tattoos on our butt if we ever win a natty. Are you in?" I am not in.
I'm not in. But hey, Godspeed. Do it, man. Go for it.
I'm going to tell you right now. Michael Hahn says, if Notre Dame plays Ohio State next, don't think it's lost. Listen, I'm not betting against this team. I don't care who it is.
No one should bet against this team at this point. You'd be insane too.
Because here's the other thing, Jamie. Let's talk about the season of redemption. Okay, for Notre Dame football, can't win it, right? And we talked about it before. So if you've listened to the pregame show, you've already heard this. Can't win in the playoffs. You beat Indiana. Can't win the big bowl game, right? Can't win the big bowl game. You beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Okay. Then you go to Orange Bowl, and you can't, the memories of the Orange Bowl against Alabama, they showed clips of it. Notre Dame losing to Alabama in the Orange Bowl. The Rocket robbed in the Orange Bowl, right? A travesty. You slay that dragon now. And now, if it's Ohio State, Marcus Freeman, Ohio State, 2 games. You lose to Ohio State close. You lose at the last second to Ohio State last year. It's right. It's all there for you. It's all there for you. And so I'm not picking against this team. No way. Jamie.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I think when it's funny because you can look at a lot of like people who, um, people that I respect, not just like hot take artists that are on there, but people I respect their football opinions who are like, oh, Penn State's running Notre Dame out the building here, or they're whooping them up. Their defensive line is whooping them, and this is that and that, whatever. And I think that it's funny because you can obviously see how those guys change, and it's not like there wasn't respect gained by Notre Dame for beating Georgia, or they would have lost that kind of respect. But it's like when you win games like this in the way that you can come back in this game, especially when you they came back to basically scored 17 straight points and then take over the game and then gave up a lead. They fell behind again and then scored the next 10 points to win the game. That's just it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different level there. And man, what a season. What a friggin' team. What a great job of the coaching staff. Hey, let's do it again, man. Let's do it again.
14-1. There's one more game. 16 Notre Dame games. This is great. CFB Hertz says, courtesy of Twitter, Penn State managed the impossible in 2024. It played a 16-game season in which their narrative around the program moved 0.0 inches. Penn State was 0-3 against the F+ top 10.
No lies told by CFB Hertz. That's
or whoever put it out on Twitter.
Yeah,
it is 100% true. They moved 0.0 inches. Penn State did. We said they were crowned. Look, Notre Dame fans, we talked about Penn State. I crushed them throughout the year. I thought they were getting crowned by everyone, and they got Notre Dame in maybe the most advantageous position of any team that has gotten Notre Dame this year. Love hurt, more rest, just played Georgia. Notre Dame found a way because what a team.
What a team. And believe me, not just the guys who are out, but there's you can count probably 10 other guys who are limping through there and just getting by. Howard Cross, he's been playing on one leg for a while. I saw him running off one time and I was like, oh, is he leaving the game? And I'm like, oh no, he's just being subbed out for 2 plays or whatever. It's just, that's just how that's everybody is just going through it, man. And it's just, man, that's why there's no better game in the world than football. Just everybody laying it on the line.
Love football, man. Love it. People ask me about football. Why do you love football so much? If you've been in it, man, the thing about football is it hurts. It hurts. It's very hard. It's very painful.
There's a reason you can only play once a week.
It is the dumbest sport ever. But I love it, man. I've always loved it because it's just the physical toll. Everyone appreciates, when we go do film and stuff, everyone appreciates, all the guys in film appreciate when you're the one who takes on the guard and you plug it. And it's like someone else makes the tackle and everyone knows no, it was you who sacrificed your physical body so someone else can make a play. That's good stuff. Irish SPE, Pete Sampson on Jeremiah Love. We went out and played like the dogs that we are. We ain't no little dogs. We're big dogs. That was the little dogs. They was the little dogs today. Little cats, whatever you want to call them.
Little dogs, little cats. Hey,
I'm so glad.
I love it all.
I'm so glad these quotes are coming from Notre Dame players and not players. I did not want them to have the satisfaction. I'll tell you that right now. I did not want that.
Okay, and I'll just, we should get out here because I actually still have to do writing.
You have a lot of work to do.
But I love the swagger of this team. Just
Yeah.
love it. Love it.
They're the best. But we will end it there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you like what you hear, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. So whatever it is, we are going to go live. We'll go live tomorrow. I'm going to go live. I don't know. Jamie, I always do my morning after recap show by myself. If you're available to do the show, I'll probably go. What are you going to say?
Message me in the morning and I'll let you know, because
I'll probably
I might be up for a while still writing. So I got to see.
I'll probably go at noon again. I'll probably go at noon.
I won't be able to do noon because I got a thing with my son. But yeah.
Well, then it'll just be me then. It'll just be me on the day after. It won't be morning after per se. It'll be morning after, afternoon after recap. But I'll be back tomorrow, recapping the game, talking more. It'll be ton of chat, conversations, and all those things. So thank you everyone for being here. Subscribe to the channel, like this show, and we'll see you tomorrow. Notre Dame 27, Penn State 24. Notre Dame is going to the national championship on the 20th of January. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Have a great night, everyone. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Keep hitting and hustling.